I did a video that ended up getting interrupted because I do everything on my phone, and because my camera's better on my phone. I had a camcorder, got destroyed. But anyways, I did a video and it got interrupted, and I was so pissed off. I just kind of said fuck it and never readdressed it. But what I was going to call it was, how can you love your children if you have them in poverty? And I've often wondered this question because so often you hear a lot of these single moms talk about how their child is a blessing. So if your child is a blessing, why wouldn't you have them in a blessed situation? Why would you have them in a situation where you're literally just trying to get back at the man because maybe he didn't want a child, maybe he didn't want to be with you anymore? So you decided you were going to use this child as like a sword or a sledgehammer over his head. Any man after a certain amount of time is not going to want to deal with that kind of crap. So he'd rather just cut his losses, take whatever stigma comes with it, and be done with the situation. Nobody really wants to answer that question, which is, if your children are such blessings, one, why are they not all with the same person? Number two, if you knew that you were struggling and you lived in an undesirable neighborhood prior to you becoming pregnant, why would you then bring forth a life that's going to make your struggle 10 times harder? Then on top of that, if you not do it just that one time, but you do it again, and then again, and then again, and at some point, that blessing that you said your children were, and not necessarily the blessing that they were born, but they're the blessing that helps you get assistance, helps you get low income housing. See, they all play the same game. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful game they play. They get to play victim and they get the benefit. They get to control the man that gave them the child. They get some money. They get the accolades of being a single mom without actually ever having to be a mom. Do you understand how intense it is to be a parent? When you have more than one child, how difficult it is to tend to all of their needs, because they all have needs. Within a marriage, me and my wife often, sometimes struggle dealing with a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a new, 6 month, 7-month old infant. Because they all have wants, they all have needs, they all have desires. And we work together to try to alleviate a lot of the stresses at the end of the night when it's time to drink some almond milk, maybe watch a little bit of TV, do some story time, and then it's bedtime. Me and my wife take turns doing that. Right now, my wife is on vacation with the children, and she's doing it all by herself. And she just texted me and said, everyone's asleep but my oldest, and she's very tired and exhausted. So being married and having a two-parent household, we are both exhausted by the end of the day. And now you're telling me that a person who has multiple children, up to several, still has time to go out, party, and get more babies? Well, I guess getting the babies is easy, but taking care of them is a whole nother story. Now, see, this is where some people will say, well, see, that's just how impressive it is to be a single mom. No, it is not. Because at the end of the day, someone is getting neglected. A couple of those children are being neglected. That's why a lot of them end up out in the street, selling drugs, doing drugs, hanging with the wrong crew. See, we don't ever really want to hold single moms accountable. Because if we held single moms accountable, it would show that there's a flaw in this belief that being a single mom is just okie dokie. A child needs both parents. And to sit there and say that your child is a blessing when you did not provide them with a blessed situation, it's very disingenuous. And it goes to show just how selfish you are. I've stated on a couple of my videos numerous times that when I confronted my mother about why she decided to have me with a man who made it clear to her he did not want to be a father, she replied to me, well, I was ready to be a mother. And I said to her, did you ever stop and think how I would feel not having a father? She didn't have an answer. Because most single moms are selfish. Even if they're not aware that they're being selfish, they are selfish. And I said to her, Ma, I understand you did the best that you could to provide for me, to keep a roof over my head, to take care of me. And I'm grateful for that, and I'm thankful for that. But you have to understand, your decision was very selfish. Very selfish. You didn't take how I would feel into consideration. You only took how you felt into consideration. And this is why I feel, and will always feel, that being a single mom is not a good thing. It's not a good look. Now, I get it. Some things happen. Some women are widows, but I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the ones who knowingly know that they are in poverty, know that it is a struggle just for them to take care of themselves, and have no qualms about bringing young children into that chaotic, dramatic, and sometimes deadly situation. So how can your children truly be a blessing if you don't respect and treat your blessing like it is a blessing?